Am I the asshole for going no contact with my entire family after my sister publicly humiliated me at her wedding in front of my 5-year-old son, and my parents laughed?
Welcome to Bookcomer Read This Story. Today's story is about a single mom who were publicly humiliated by her own family during her sister's wedding, until the room-wrapped microphone expelled everyone in the room and walked away from the marriage on the spot. Trust me, this story gets crazier the deeper it goes. Let's get started.
My son is 5 years old. He was sitting next to me at a table in the corner of a ballroom last Saturday. Right when he started crying because he didn't understand why everyone was laughing at his mom out. I need to write this down because my phone hasn't stopped ringing for 2 days and I need someone outside of this situation to tell me if I'm the one who did something wrong. Some background. I'm 32, I'm a nurse, and a single mom. My marriage ended 3 years ago, and when it did, my mom told me I should have tried harder to keep my husband. I filed that away with the other things she has said over the years and kept moving. My sister is for years younger than me. Growing up, she was the one who got things. The attention, the patience, the benefit of the doubt. I was the one who managed. This is not a new dynamic, and I had mostly made my peace with it. That my sister got engaged about a year ago to a man I'll call Daniel. He's a children's rights lawyer. He's one of the most decent people I have ever encountered in my life. I was genuinely happy for her. The wedding was last Saturday. 5-star hotel in Manhattan. Round 200 guests 2 weeks before the wedding. My sister told me I could only wear pale, muted colors. She said she didn't want me to stand out. I bought a pale gray dress and said nothing. The day of, I found out where my son and I had been seated. Table 23. I looked it up on the floor plan. It was the table in the corner furthest from the front, directly next to the service entrance where the catering staff walked in and out all evening. I sat down and told my son we were going to have a good time. The speeches started after dinner. My sister took the mic. She thanked people. She talked about the day. She said some things about Daniel that were warm and seemed genuine. And then she turned to Ward where I was sitting. She said she wanted to acknowledge her sister. She said I was a cautionary tale. She said I was an example of what happens when a woman can't keep a man. She used the phrase abandoned by every man who ever knew her. She said she hoped her guests would look at me and understand what she had been determined not to become from somewhere behind me. I heard my mom's voice. She said, "She's used goods." I heard laughter. I looked at my dad. He had his hand over his mouth, but his shoulders were shaking as my son looked at me. He didn't understand what was being said. He understood that people were laughing and that it had something to do with his mom. He started crying. I want to be accurate about what happened next because I've been replaying it. Daniel was standing near the edge of the stage. I watched his face change. He walked up the 3 steps to the stage and he put his hand out toward my sister and she gave him the mic without understanding yet what was happening. He stood at the podium for a moment. Then he said he needed to say something. He said he was a lawyer who spent his career protecting children. He said he had just watched a 5-year-old boy cry because the adults in the room thought humiliating his mother was entertainment. He said he had believed he was marrying into a family with certain values. He said he had been wrong. He said the engagement was over. He put the mic down and walked off the stage. Someone near the back of the room said later that her cousin had been live streaming the whole reception for relatives who couldn't attend. The stream had been running the entire time that my family turned to me immediately. My sister was crying, and my mom was already moving through the crowd toward me, and my dad had stood up from his chair. They said I had ruined the wedding. They said this was typical of me, making everything about myself. They said my son shouldn't have been there if he was going to cause a scene. I picked up my son, told him we were leaving, and walked out. I don't know what else I could have done. Am I the asshole for leaving without trying to fix anything? And honestly, my family is calling constantly, and I haven't picked up once. Am I wrong for that? They keep saying I need to be the bigger person. I keep thinking about my son sitting next to me in that corner table crying. Too long. Didn't read. Sister publicly called me a cautionary tale and used goods at her own wedding in front of 200 people. My mom joined in from the audience. My dad laughed. My 5-year-old son cried. My sister's groom took the mic, called off the engagement on the spot, and said he couldn't marry into a family willing to hurt a child for entertainment. The whole thing was live streamed. My family is blaming me. I haven't picked up the phone. Am I the asshole? Edit. A friend just texted me asking if I saw what was sent in the family group chat. I didn't know there was a family group chat. She's sending me screenshots. I'm going to read them and then probably not sleep tonight. Update coming, hot edit too. I read the screenshots. I'm not going to write what they said right now. I just needed everyone to know this was planned. It was a script. Update coming when I can type without my hands shaking.
Well, honestly, I think this story already feels heartbreaking before we even know what happens next. Like, I genuinely felt sick reading parts of this. Imagine show up to your own sister's wedding, trying to stay respectful, trying not to cause any problems, only to slowly realize you were basically invited there to be humiliated. And the part with her little boy honestly crushed me. The second he started crying because he could tell everyone was laughing at his mom. Yeah, that's hard. I can't even lie. That's the cause of seeing this in my head for a long time. But what really changed everything for me was Daniel. Because the moment he took that you could almost feel the entire shift. That didn't sound like a guy reacting impulsively. It sounded like someone realizing in real time that this family's broti runs way deeper than one bad joke. And now that we know the whole thing may have been planned beforehand, well, I have a feeling the next updates is going to get really ugly, and it's about years of toxic behavior nobody wanted to talk about.
Update 1, 3 days, Lateri. Want to explain what was in the screenshots is the family group chat. The one I had been removed from before the wedding had a thread going back 6 weeks. My sister and my mom had written a speech together. There were drafts. There were edits. My mom had suggested the used goods line, and my sister had added it to her notes. There was a message from my sister 2 days before the wedding that said she was looking forward to seeing my face. I read the whole thread twice. Then I blocked my mom, my dad, and my sister on every platform and every number I had for them. I didn't explain. I didn't send a message first. I just did it 2 days after that. My mom and my sister showed up at my door. I watched them through the window. I did not open the door. My mom knocked for about 10 minutes and then rang the bell several times and then stood back and said my name loudly enough that my neighbor came out onto his porch to look. I heard her say through the door that the video was spreading and that people were calling them, and I needed to say publicly that what happened had been taken out of context. She said I owed them that much. I did not open the door that my aunt called that evening. She's my mom's older sister, and she has always been, as far as I can remember, the only person in my family who asked how I was and waited for the actual answer. She said she had seen the video. She said she was sorry. She didn't explain or defend or contextualize. She just said she was sorry and asked how my son was doing. I cried for the first time since the wedding. I had been so focused on staying composed in front of my son that I hadn't let myself feel any of it. I sat on my kitchen floor and cried into my phone while my aunt stayed on the line and didn't tell me to stop. Daniel sent me a message for days after the wedding. He said he was sorry for what happened and sorrier that it had happened in front of my son. He said he had missed something important about the person he thought he was marrying and that the wedding had clarified things he should have seen earlier. He said he hoped we were both okay. I wrote back and said thank you. It was a short message. I didn't know what else to say to someone who had done something that decent. I started looking for a therapist that week. I found one with an opening the following Tuesday. I went. I cried again, this time in a different kitchen, but same general idea.
Okay, honestly, like this swing shot changed everything for me. So before this, you could almost try to confide yourself. Maybe the sister just went too far in the moment or got carried away trying to be funny. But finding out that they planned the humiliation for weeks. Dropping lies together like it was something caused a performance. Yeah, that's actually disturbing. And the fact that their first reaction afterward wasn't guilt or regret. It was like showing up as her how begging her to retake their dotations because the video was ready. That's told you everything. At the same time, I'm not gonna lie, the small moments in this update hit the hearted. Her aunt staying on the phone while she cried. Daniel reaching out with a genius remark. It's like the first time she finally meeting people who actually treats her with basic human kindness. Which honestly make me wonder if up that too is where she finally start realizing just how toxic her family really were this entire time.
Update in 8 months, Lateri want to close this out properly because people have been kind in the comments, and I think I owe them a real ending. I was promoted to head nurse 3 months ago. It's more responsibility and more hours some weeks, but it's also the clearest signal I've gotten from the world in a while that I am good at what I do and that what I do matters. My son started school in September. He had a hard first week. He's shy and the classroom was loud. And then he found a friend who also loves trains, and now he comes home talking about this kid constantly. He does not mention the wedding. I don't think he fully understood what happened. I think he understood that something was wrong and that we left and that things got better. Kids are practical in ways adults forget how to be. I've been in therapy for 7 months. It is slow work. I am learning things about myself that should have been obvious years ago and weren't. And I am learning things about my family that I understood in pieces, but had never let myself see all at once. My therapist does not tell me what to do. She asks questions until I figure it out myself, which is maddening and also, I think, correct. I have been seeing someone for about 4 months. I am not going to say much about that except that it is the first relationship I have been in where I don't spend a significant amount of energy anticipating what I might have done wrong. He asks what I want for dinner and waits for my actual answer, and that is, it turns out, a remarkable thing to experience. The live stream is still findable if you know where to look. My family cannot get it taken down everywhere. My sister's professional life has been affected in ways I don't follow closely. She's in therapy, according to my aunt. My dad sent me a text 2 months ago that said he was sorry. 3 sentences. I read it and I put my phone down and I didn't respond that day. I haven't responded yet. I'm not sure if I will let Daniel still sends my son a birthday card and a gift. This month it was a book about trains. My son asked me who it was from and I said it was from a kind person. That seemed like the right answer for right now that my aunt and I have dinner once a month. She lives 40 minutes away and she comes to my neighborhood and we try new restaurants and she asks me questions about my life and she listens to the answers. It is the closest thing to a family relationship I have right now, and it is, genuinely, enough. I think about the wedding sometimes, about the table in the corner, about my son's face, about a man I had just met, walking up 3 steps onto a stage and doing the thing that nobody else in that room did. I think about the fact that the cruelest thing they planned for me turned out to be the thing that showed me, very clearly, exactly who everyone in that room was that my family thought they were. Showing me my place, they showed me the door, I walked through it and I didn't look back, and 8 months later my son is talking about trains and I got promoted, and there's someone who waits for my actual answer when he asks what I want for dinner, not the asshole. Not even close. But more than that, I want to say to anyone reading this from inside something that looks like that ballroom, the people laughing are not the whole world. They just feel like it when you're sitting at table 23 and your kid is crying. Walk out. Just walk out as it gets lighter on the other side after long. Didn't read. Found out the speech was scripted and planned 6 weeks in advance. Blocked everyone immediately. Family came to my door to ask me to defend their reputation publicly. I didn't open it. My aunt called just to check on me. Daniel checked on my son. I found a therapist. Got promoted to head nurse. My son loves trains and has a best friend. I'm seeing someone kind. Dad sent a 3-sentence apology I haven't answered yet. Daniel still sends birthday cards. My aunt and I have dinner once a month. I'm okay. We're okay.
Honestly, I think what makes this story hit so hard isn't even just the cruelty at the wedding. It's realizing how long she has been living inside that cruelty without fully seeing it. It's like reading did genuinely make my chest hurt a little. Because the wedding wasn't really the beginning of the story. It was just the moment everything hidden finally became impossible to ignore. And somehow the worst night of her life ending up becoming the thing that finally pushed her toward a better one. And I'm not gonna lie, and the part that's got me emotional wasn't the public humiliation or even Daniel calling out the wedding. It's what the quiet little tales afterward. Her son coming home excited about a trance. Her aunt sitting theirs and actually listening to her. A man asking what she wants for dinner and waiting for the real answer. Well, that says so much more about healing than some huge dramatic revenge ever could. Because when you grow up around people who constantly tear you down, basic kindness start feeling almost unreal. And honestly, Danielle stepping in on the stage, I still think that moment changed her life forever. For probably the first time, somebody saw her being bubbly humiliated and immediately said, No, this isn't normal. Desk evaluations can change the way someone sees themselves.
And
That's final life really stuck with me. The people locking in the barroom felt like the whole world to her at the time. But they weren't. They were just a loud, brutal room for broken people. The actual world turned out to be the little boy talking about trains, and An who keen enough to listen, in a life that slowly became letter after she walked away. So let me know what you guys think about this one, because I genuinely want to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe to PopcornRest This Story. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!